probably the highlight of the trip so far. We got the beautiful mountains, trail leveled out a little bit, and I got my formaggio from Italy. Just enjoying it, snacking along the way. Hey guys, thanks for watching and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 of the best multi-tools that are on the market. And before we get down into it, I just wanted to mention that if you're curious about any of the gear that I'm going to be talking about in this video, just be sure to check out the links in the description box down below. And I went ahead and listed those for your convenience. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with, I guess I'll just call this like the Honda Accord of multi-tools. And this is from Leatherman. This is known as the Leatherman Charge. And then you got the Leatherman Wave, which is very similar. It's just a couple of less tools. A lot of people will go with the Leatherman Wave, and it's actually Leatherman's flagship multi-tool. So kind of just starting off with the standard. So first off, you can see that this, just like all the other of these top 5 multi-tools, are going to have pliers integrated into them, in addition to having wire clippers and obviously the pliers themselves. There's also wire strippers on there too. And then another difference, a key difference between this and the Leatherman Wave is that this has higher quality blade steel. This version has S30V, which is a premium super steel. And another difference that this has from the Wave is that it has that like a little gut hook right there. Everything else is going to be like the Leatherman Wave. You're going to have the plain edge knife. You're going to have the fully serrated knife. And I prefer to have a Leatherman or multi-tool, I should say, that has a fully serrated blade, because I don't carry too many knives that have serrations in them as anyways. And serrations have their advantages, such as cutting through things like rope and zip ties and things like that. Just all sorts of different things. So this also has a saw blade and a file. All right, so on the inside, if you open up the pliers, you can see that additional tools in here, including a Phillips head, a flat head, as well as a can opener bottle opener. And then you have a tiny little pair of scissors, as well as a flat head screwdriver, like a larger flat head, as well as a tiny one that has a Phillips and a flat head for like eyeglasses, things like that, or sunglasses. All right, moving on to another one of my favorites, and I didn't think that this would be one of my favorites. This is the Leatherman Super Tool 300. So this is actually like a large multi-tool. It is noticeably larger than the Leatherman Charge. While I'm saying that, let me just show you side by side how much bigger it is. And yes, it is. It just feels more robust, and it feels really ergonomic, which a lot more than any of the other Leatherman multi-tools that are out there, to be honest. And then you have larger tools just all around, including a plain edge knife, as well as a punch, and of course the different sized screwdriver heads. You also have a file, a fully serrated knife, a saw blade, bottle opener, can opener, a 3D Phillips head. So this tool is less of a compromise than a typical multi-tool is, because you're having better, more robust, more comfortable tools and use. But unfortunately, the design of this means that you're going to have to open it with basically 2 hands. So if you have something else going on, you know, and you're reaching into your belt to grab this, you're going to need both hands in order to open it. Even though this is my go-to multi-tool in the home, I would recommend that maybe you put yours like in a toolbox or something like that. But I would say that I am a big fan of the Super Tool, but not necessarily for EDC. All right, moving on to the next multi-tool. This one is going to be much less expensive than some of the other ones that you're going to see. This one's going to be closer to around $30–35, and this is from Gerber. This is known as the Suspension, and this is the newer version. It's, you know, NXT. So I guess they refined a couple things. It is more skeletonized, as you can see, so a little bit lighter weight. Overall, because it is less expensive, I tend to actually use these for tasks that I wouldn't want to quote unquote ruin my nicer multi-tools for, which is kind of funny because these are tools. They're meant to be, you know, used, hard used or whatnot. Or if I need to loan out a multi-tool, maybe I'll just keep this as a spare multi-tool in my backpack, because I know people are going to come up to me anyways asking to borrow them, even though they might laugh at the fact that I have a multi-tool on me. They're usually quick to return to me later asking me to borrow it. So this is the one I give them. So this has, you know, basically the same things as a Leatherman Wave, just kind of smaller version or maybe less quality version of them. But it is worth noting that it does have a 3D Phillips head screwdriver, so that's going to fit a little bit better. And the pliers themselves, although it seems kind of gimmicky, they are able to open and close, you know, one-handed. You don't have to force it open or anything like that. So, you know, some people like that. So if you need a multi-tool, it doesn't need to be super expensive. You don't see you using it all the time. You just need something. Then I would recommend the Gerber Suspension. All right, moving on to number 4, and these aren't in any specific order per se. You know, all these multi-tools are good for different purposes, but I would say this next one is another good EDC or everyday carry multi-tool, kind of like the Leatherman Wave and Leatherman Charge is. This is the Leatherman Free P4. It's kind of a weird name, I do admit. We call it Leatherman Free P4.
Are you out of your mind?
What I like about this is when I saw it at SHOT Show and was introduced, I was able to talk with the engineer himself. They had like a couple engineers, young guys, and just kind of, you know, just wanted to make the best multi-tool possible, and they spent years designing this. And so a couple of the features that they told me about was, you have a lot of people don't realize that this, unlike the other multi-tools that I showed you so far, this has a pommel on it. So you could use it for things like nails in a pinch. Like I said, this isn't designed to be a hammer, or, you know, crushing acorns, whatever you want to do. And it has a magnet on it, so you can open it one-handed. And remember, I said one-handed because that's going to come back. And yeah, it's kind of an improvement on the original Wave. I know the Waves and Charges these days have the replacement wire cutters, but this one does as well. And then you might notice that I'm closing it again, and it's because all of the tools that I need to access, I can access from the outside. And I don't need unlike all the other tools that I just showed you, I don't need my fingernails in order to open it. You can open it with a glove. It's just friction based. You're just pushing up, and then you fan out the tools. So one-handed open, you can open any and access any of the tools for the Leatherman Free. It's meant to be used with gloves, and it's just kind of a cooler, you know, butterfly knife-esque design, and I like it. In this sheath, I also keep a Bic lighter, as well as a little flashlight and a ferrocerium rod and a little pen just in the back. But I really like the Leatherman sheaths. Like I mentioned, I'll leave those down below. All right, before I get to the last multi-tool, I'm going to show you some, I guess you can call them runner-ups, but they're more like one-offs. So where these are great overall, I would say that these next ones that I'm going to show you, the next 3, are going to be good in very specific situations. And so one of them I'm actually wearing, you probably have seen a Swiss Army knife before.
Hey, I want that knife back, you know.
So there's different versions of the classic Swiss Army knife. I like this version a little bit better, but you also don't have the toothpick and don't have the tweezers. So if you're like me and you just got braces because your teeth are falling out, you know, you're going to be missing that toothpick that you might want. Maybe hiking, you might want some tweezers. So just kind of keep that in mind. And I just keep these on my keys all the time. So one could argue that my most carried multi-tool is a Swiss Army knife. And then this is the Victorinox ALOX Pioneer X. But basically, this has a larger pen knife, and it has a bottle opener, can opener, scissors, as well as a punch. So it's pretty cool, and I like the limited edition orange. Yeah, it's from 2021, but each year they come out with a different version. I just like orange because it's just easier to see in the woods, unlike some of the multi-tools that are out there. So this would be great for maybe like camping or just light tasks in the outdoors. And then in the sheath that it comes with, I also just have a little flashlight, a light flashlight. All right, and then the last of this category. Some people really like this multi-tool. I'm not against it by any means, but this is good for, I would say, like a bug out bag or like a survival kit of some sort. But this is the Leatherman Signal, and I think Leatherman picked up on the fact that a lot of people in the outdoor survival community were asking for certain tools, survival types of items, and so they put a ferrocerium rod on it, as well as a knife sharpener, so a field sharpener, as well as a whistle, so it just has a way of being used. It just comes right out. But also, of course, you have the pliers, and then on the outside when it's closed, and then you can lock this closed, but it has a pommel as well. So this is actually one of the best pommels that are out there for Leatherman. And then this is definitely hands down the best bottle opener. So for those of you who are, go camping and you need a really good bottle opener, this definitely has it. And then of course a knife blade. This is a combo blade, so it has it's partially serrated. And then of course a saw, so that you can be able to process firewood and stuff. So like I said, I just keep this in my bug out bag, and that is where this little guy stays.
I call it
The Signal.
I don't think so. This is a miss.
All right, moving on. Like I said, this will be the last multi-tool, also from Leatherman. This is known as the king of multi-tools, and this is known as the Leatherman Surge, and it is basically a larger version of the Leatherman Charge / Leatherman Wave. It's basically the exact same design except bigger. And instead of eyeglass holders and instead of a saw blade that, works in a pinch, this has a much better saw blade. And instead of those eyeglass screwdrivers, this one has a full up awl. So you can be able to, I never really use these for sewing leather, repairing tarps or anything like that, but I really like having an awl or a punch on me when I'm outdoors, because I'm just typically using it for random, I never would have thought that this would be a good tool to have scenarios, to be totally honest. And even the scissors on these are much better than the Leatherman Charge / Leatherman Wave. Let me pull it out all the way. But yeah, these are really, really good tools. They took this and made it bigger, made it more robust. They kind of added a super tool to a Leatherman Charge, and they got the Leatherman Surge.
Hey,
Yeah?
what the f is this?
Oh, you didn't really give any specific guidelines about mating.
Is kind of how I see it. And yeah, a lot of these have different variants, different colors. So this isn't always black, this isn't always camo. So feel free to go check out the different things that are out there that Leatherman makes. Some of them have G10 handles or orange or blue and all these other kind of things. So if you guys are interested in any of the multi-tools I talk about in this video, just be sure to check out those links in the description box down below. Real quickly, what I keep in this Leatherman sheath is a flashlight, ferrocerium rod, another lighter, as well as some twine as a tinder for starting fires. My intention is to be using this for the outdoors. I actually EDC this multi-tool because I feel like no matter the situation that I find myself in, this is going to pull me through. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and the last thing that I'll say about multi-tools is that these are just awesome things to have. They're kind of like good companions or good friends to have by your side, literally on your side in some cases. And you never know where your day is going to bring you, especially some of the jobs that you guys are doing out there. So y'all stay safe out there, and remember, pays to repair. God bless.
Edison, can I be honest with you? It stinks.